A pilgrim in Austin, Texas. Overcast sky. Drizzle and 25 degrees. 5 kilometers along a lake. They came back from a mushroom journey carrying questions about sacred fire and the smallest kindling, about the spiral that always returns to the beginning, about the one piece at the center of every story, which turns out to be nothing. We are actors in a divine comedy who forgot we are in a play. The treasure was always where we started.
All right, another episode 3, like the sacred number 3. There's something about 3, continuing off where, I think from episode 1, all good things come in 3s, I guess. I remember Siddhartha, in the book Siddhartha, that the 3 skills that Siddhartha had was, I can think, I can wait, and I can fast, right? That's all you need, in a sense. You can do the bare minimum to sustain yourself as a human being, the body as a temple. You just need a little bit of sustenance to keep the body, alive, healthy and well. So in the way you can do that is through fasting. Your body doesn't really need that much. It's the sense craving that's actually causing this. I just came off of a shroom trip, and so I'm still a little bit out of it. Just want to do a little integration while walking, talking, meditating. It's another session. I'm here, it's parked at WeWork. It's actually, I think I've been here for maybe like 2 to 3 years. When I was working for Chainlink, that's the place, because we get co-working expense, and this is like the closest location. It's a beautiful area, actually. I'm glad they kept it, because I know WeWork went through restructuring where they had to negotiate lease deals with all these commercial properties, and they basically was going through a bankruptcy so they can get out if they wanted to. But I'm glad this one kept going, and it's surrounded by, it's right actually next to a beautiful lake called Quarry Lake, and which is owned by Lifetime, which is the gym I go to. And it's nice. You get to circumambulate the lake. It's almost like a mile. It's perfect. And as a member, you actually can get in to the lake area. You can swim, paddleboard, all that. And before I wasn't a Lifetime member, there was a door that properties around the area, including apartments, commercial buildings, they get to access. And that door had a lock code, but before people were abusing it, and then the lock was broken. So now they had to put a new one. So for quite a while, the lock was broken so anyone can get in. So now they have a new one. I had to ask my friend for the code, which started drizzling now. Maybe I can get inside this building. I thought it was going to start raining at around 3 or 4, but can't dictate when it's going to happen. It just does. So the shroom trip, I just came from, I wanted to do this after the Dallas retreat. I went to an Easter retreat in Dallas. It was beautiful. And it's funny is I was still kind of testing, trying to finish out the feature of Whisper and Kern, which was released on Friday. Actually, after release, it feels so nice. There's such a uplifting energy after releasing and after going through App Store review multiple times, which I didn't know, but you're supposed to put a widget. If you use the live dynamic view, you have to put a widget compatible for your app, or else it will not work, or else they will actually reject it because it's part of the App Store submission guideline or something. So we just put a random phrase as part of the widget, just like a random walk quote that fulfills it. Who knows? That might be useful later down, but right now it's just a random quote. Anyways, the whisper and kern is so cool. I feel like you're able to leave one of 7 category of quotes, and each one have like 3 audio with each of the person that narrates it. It's all actually generated by AI. So 21 in general, in total, and you get to leave a whisper, and it's a ephemeral whisper. So you can set it for 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month, and that would be on the trail. So you can actually see when you're close by one, and on the setting, you can actually by default, it's autoplays. So when you're near a whisper, it autoplays that audio. And the kern is just, people might see this where when they're traveling about, looking at different places, there is piles of stones that people put, and inevitably you want to contribute to that, which is, it's like a very human thing to do, to be part of something in the wilderness and just contribute. And so that's so the kern is like a digital version of that. So it's a permanent thing, and when you're by one, you're actually able to place on top of the kern, and so you contribute to a pile of stones. That's a permanent fixture, and it's like completely anonymous. No one knows. You're just like part of the contribution that you were contributing to. So those 2 features are live now, and there's some other. A major one I didn't realize, but somehow came about, which solves 2 issues. Solves 2 issues. Where now the walk screen, it minimizes and collapses and minimizes, so you're able to see less stuff on the screen. So the map populates, the whole screen populates with the map after you start the walk, but you can also push or swipe up to see the full screen, which takes more than half of the screen once you uncollapse it. And it solves the issue of the accessibility large text issue. We were trying to do a hacky way to go about it after a friend found that bug where he can't even start the walk because the text is so large and push everything down. So this amazingly fixes that whole thing, and it's great. I feel like it's working awesomely, and I didn't even realize that was a thing. So now we're able to fix that, which is great. I'm trying to. 1 5 1 4. Oh yeah, cool. Totally forgot the lock code trying to get in here. Okay. And so that's a nicer view now, I feel like, and it's great. I feel like it's a nice upgrade. It's part of the 1.2 release. And from the trip, I go into it, it was intention of set is, what is my small role, tiny role in the grand scheme of it all? And I feel like what came through was, this is my life's work in a way, because when they say, if you have unlimited amount of money, what would you be doing? this is what I will be doing. I feel like so. There's several different components to the holistic project of it all, but pilgrim is just one of them. And yeah, I feel like I'm just a steward for this whole project, and it's a gift to the universe in a way, because it's completely free, open sourced, and people, I feel like humanity as a whole would be able to enjoy this. And also, like, part of the back end uses Cloudflare, which they generously provide a lot of things basically for free. I don't think I'm actually paying for any Cloudflare, even though majority of the websites are using Cloudflare as part of the domain to kind of stop DDoS attacks, as well as just whole host of features that they give out for free. So actually on Friday, because of what Claude came out, or Anthropics came out with the Mythos, and they were able to kind of find all these vulnerabilities across like the whole internet stacks and software, that it plunged a lot of software companies, something like over 10%, for each of the company, 10-20% drop just for the day. And Cloudflare was one of them. I think it dropped like something like 20% or 16% or something. So it was my first time actually buying their stock. So it's like a way of contributing. And I feel like and what came through during the trip was energy, money, energy is just a way of contributing. When someone's going through low, dark periods of their life, it's not that they're I don't know how to say it. It's just that they are low on energy. It's just less energy flow, and thereby we stop getting energy. Like even though the flow is always there could be blockages, and we just are not tapping into that energetic flow, and thereby people who are depressed, they're feeling down and low. That energy flow has been depressed / blocked, and it's a beautiful way to kind of give back to contributing to their lesser energy flow and maybe help with that. It's everyone's going through their own stuff, and part of the thing I feel like is it's a tough journey. It can be tough. It can be full of surprises and fun things along the way, and how you make it out. So we're all kind of like brothers and sisters in our own unique journey in this path, and helping each other along, right? But we all have to deal with it in our individual way, because only we are with ourselves all the time. So we can't really know what the other person is going through, but it's nice to be there with them without really saying anything, just like providing that beingness, that energy with them, to be attuned, to harmonize with them. Maybe it will uplift them in some way, and that's all we can do. So I remember it was a great reminder during one of my post-ayahuasca ceremony, where I was like really vibrating still. I remember I was eating a breakfast bowl of like cereal, and I was just vibrating. My whole body's vibrating, and my energy level was just super high. And then afterwards, it didn't really come down until I took the flower bath to really ground me to this plane in a way. And then afterwards, I wrote down some words, phrases that came to me as a part of the download. And one of them was, purpose of life was to assist in an unforced way. And just like, because sometimes we try too hard and we exert too much energy, and it kind of burns us out. Where we are all souls on our unique journey, where we all have our gifts. So in a way, we serve our gifts to the world wherever we see, where it just feels natural, where you're not forcing anything. You just see with the right opportunity, the right people, and you serve that way. And actually part of this was I recently started another project called Temple of Joy. I had the domain for a while, templeofjoy.org, and just never really had anything along with it. For the longest time, it was just like a text. It says like Temple of Joy at Austin. That was it. And after coming back from the retreat, I was with a friend in a car, and we were just conversing, and somehow the topic of like, it'll be nice to kind of get to know others, what their offerings, what people's unique gifts are on the path, but all kind of like part of Yogananda's devotee in a sense. So that came forth, and then I think on Tuesday I created this whole new website called templeofjoy.org, where it's kind of like almost like a directory / community for people who are serving as part of the path, because temple in the yogic teaching is the body. The body is a sacred place where it houses the soul, so it's a temple for that. And then the joy is that essence. It's one of the 8 qualities of God, and that joy of serving. There's that uniqueness. There's that creative energy around it, where when we serve, it just uplifts us, almost like karma yoga. Just like by serving, you feel that natural joy from that serving. I remember when I went to the first and only time of an Amma event, like the Hugging Saint, where my friend recommended it, and I went there in Dallas, and they were just touring around the country, also around the world actually. And I remember after I was about to leave, and one person pulled me to do some seva, and just like washing dishes or taking care of people's trays and all of that. It was just helping, just doing our duty in a way, what we're capable of, what I'm capable of, just serving the best I can be in a way. And afterwards, I felt so much energy. It's like the word or the phrase, energy begets more energy, or the phrase, the liquidity begets more liquidity. It's kind of like the more energy, which is in a way, it's like money, right? Money, liquidity, there is that flow, that current, and the more you get it, the more current there is. It's also very interesting, like the words and symbol. Listening to like Jordan Maxwell, he's all about symbolisms and words that are used, like currency, like current, flow, and the birth of a ship, and how admiralty, or like the sea has its own law versus like the land. It's all very interesting. Like symbolism is such a key part of makes what humans are able to do. We use symbolism and all that. It's also like a part of the dream thing as well, which all this is a dream, right? Like we're talking about the path. In a way, we're in the play, in the grand divine cosmic play. So actually the phrase that came to me was called to play in the play, right? Because we're all playing. And when we're playing, that is the essence of being a kid, with in the flow and being in the present moment, and full of curiosity, full of that energy, that creative flow of energy. And that's essentially what we're all searching for. Oh, one thing that came forth was One Piece. I think it's because I recently finished watching season 2 of One Piece, like the live version, and I feel like they perfectly casted every single character beautifully. Like each of the character are them in anime, but in real life. And Oda Sensei, I think he has the creative final say for everything. So he perfectly casted every single person to match what he was thinking or his creative output was. And yeah, it's done beautifully. And I think Emily Rudd is so cute playing Nami. Anyways, the One Piece, the anime has been going on for decades. Like now it's in like the thousands episodes. The manga is still going, I think. But, you know, in a sense, it started out with a boy's vision to be the king of pirates and searching for this treasure, the treasure of all treasure called One Piece that Gold D. Roger had put out there somewhere in the Grand Line. And it's very interesting because what came forth during my trip was I feel like, you know, the final reveal is that the One Piece is nothing. It's just, it's emptiness. It's kind of like peeling the onion and getting down to the essence. The essence in the middle is emptiness, and that is the treasure we're all seeking. So it's the journey along the way that kind of shapes the soul, shapes the character of us, and that is the journey. So I feel like this One Piece is the modern day kind of like scripture in a way, or like Mahabharata or the Bible in a way, because it appealed to so many people right now, especially. It caught on like religiously with, you know, cards. Now there's live action, and in a way it identifies, we're all kind of identify a part of us in that, in each of the characters, in the journey itself, because there's a part of us that seeks a sense of adventure, that rebelness, being a pirate, right? There's pirates like being cool, but also pirate, there's code of ethics, even though there are outlaws, which we kind of don't really have these days with our modern society being so tamed and everything is like manicured, curated. So there's that outlawness that we all kind of miss in a way, like that sense of adventure. We explored everywhere on Earth. Now we're going beyond that to different planets, moon, galaxy. There's always that seek outness to it all. And One Piece kind of exemplifies that. It's like seeking out a treasure, external treasure, which kind of, in the end, it's like a divine cosmic play, cosmic drama, or cosmic comedy, right? Because in the end, that treasure is within us. It's with us all the time. So it's an inner journey to find ourselves, to find the One Piece, which is with us all the time. It's kind of like the alchemist, you know. We journey. It's like a hero's journey coming back home to find the treasure was with us all along, and that's the whole play, whole story, which I think is coming. I mean, when, let's say, Oda Sensei like finishes One Piece, and it's very interesting because I watched One Piece way back. I just never followed like. I think I stopped around 100 or something episodes, so didn't really continue on with all the new cast, new characters, new stories, all of that. So I have no idea where it is right now. But I met a girl in Japan, and she's actually from the same city as Oda Sensei. So they actually have statues of all the characters, the main characters in One Piece around town. So it's almost like a pilgrimage to see them. So to go to the city and then seek them out. And then the one she showed me on her phone was a picture of Zoro. And Zoro has, it's like a random place, random place somewhere. And then when I took I think yeah, I took a local train. Where I was, I think I was in Fukuoka, and then there's a train from Fukuoka to that city. I forgot the city name, but it's like an hour to an hour and a half away. And I took the train over there, and the first place I went was that Zorro statue. Even though I have no really like connection or affinity for it, it just it's something spontaneously came forth. I was like, all right, let's go and check it out, because that girl showed it to me. So I did, and went to took a local train to get there. It was like almost like the end of the line, and the place was near a park with a few elderly people playing outside, playing like some kind of ball game, and it was right next to a bathroom with the Zorro statue. And then very synchronistically, there was a girl taking a selfie, so I asked her if she wanted a photo, so I took a photo for her while she was next to the statue. She asked me if I wanted one. I forgot if I did. Maybe I did. Maybe she took one, or maybe I refused. I forgot, or I politely refused. I forgot if I actually took a photo in front of the Zorro statue. Anyways, yeah, just random things like that. And that's part of what makes the journey fun. At least for me, when I travel, there's no agenda. I just go wherever kind of the universe is telling me to go. There's some crazy synchronicities that happen when you have no plans and you go just spontaneously go with it, kind of flow. So One Piece, the crew, their journey is like an individual journey, but it's also a group journey, and they all are, sailing the Grand Line, which in a way it's very poetic. It's a grand line. The line, I feel like, what I imagine was like a spiral. So they're basically sailing down a spiral to get to the depth of where they find One Piece, which is themselves, the innerness, the inner essence-ness. And they all go in a spiral. So it's like a circle, but they learn along the way. They really test them. The Grand Line really tests them to see their fortitude, their resolves, also increase their abilities, their skills. And so they really grown. Each character really grown from that. And that's what we're all doing, in a sense, in our life. If are introspective about it, we kind of reflect at our lives and see how we can do better, because that's the journey that we're all part of. And it's very interesting. I feel like, that's why people are so drawn to One Piece, because there is that small, that childlikeness in us that want to seek adventure, and that kind of is being played out in something like imagined story, which is the story of Mahabharata, as well as like the Bible. They're all story, right? Like Jordan Maxwell has the saying, which is, Bible is the greatest story ever told. There's a lot of allegories and metaphorical ways in about, especially the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita, the Kurukshetra battlefield, and then the family they're fighting against, like the upward pull of energy. It's all it's a metaphor. It's a giant story to teach us a giant lesson behind it all. And so actually another thing that came forth was that I should do an extra, because right now there's 7 category for whisper, and the thing that came forth was to have a 8th category called play, which features my voice and just me saying things that resonates with me. It just like it could be one word, it could be a laugh, it could be anything. And there's like that sense of play, and you can leave it around the world as a whisper. And I feel like that's like such a kid / playful thing to do, which also kind of leaves a little bit of mark, the creator's mark in the app itself, which I find very joyously. I immediately vibe with it, let's say. And another thing that came forth at the end was, so these podcasts, when we have a dialogue between two people, like a walk and talk dialogue, the other person could leave, they pick one of the 7 categories, and they leave something in their voice about that category, and then that gets into the app. So it's almost like they leave a permanent mark it's almost like a token of gratitude for being on part of this path, being on part of this journey, and for participating in the journey along with the podcast. And they get a momentum to remember them by. And also it's like an ephemeral thing, right? It's a random placed whisper, also random selected. If someone selects a random whisper for, let's say, gratitude, and it's not that they're able to select that person. It's just a randomly selected quote from someone. I think I'm gonna stop right here, gather more thoughts, go to this dock to do a little bit of meditation. The sun is out. It rained a little. Oh, it's very interesting because during my trip, I remember I had this thought, like, it would be cool I was laying on the couch, it would be cool to listen to the sound of rain hitting the chimney. It's almost like an instrument, along with the wind chimes that we have in the backyard. So it's like a beautiful melody in a way, because I know it was going to rain later. And then as soon as I thought about it, it started raining, and it only rained for a little bit. It only rained for maybe like 5 seconds. But it's almost like I was like thanking God and Guru throughout I was thanking God and Guru for all this, for helping us, for guiding us through our journey. But it's also just things like that, a tiny little thing that's almost like a confirmation / hint that, hey, I am here watching over you, no matter how small. It's just it's almost like a divine comical thing, right? So I thought that was like beautiful, and I laughed. So that was a little moment. Anyways, the door is locked. I gotta check the code and see. So let's pick it back up a little bit. So just went into Lifetime to go to the restroom real quick. Also getting the gate code. So it seems like they change now pretty often in the summertime, especially, I guess, when a lot of people are using the lake area. They need to keep changing it in order to prevent people from freeloading, which makes sense. And yeah, it's a beautiful dock. This is a beautiful trail too. So anyways, going off the One Piece thing, I am definitely going to write an essay about this whole thing, which came forth. So I have like a dialogue with Claude to go deeper into kind of like philosophical nature of mixing between pilgrimage, journey, and things like this. A new topic that came forth, as well as like people's societal things. Last one I think I did was about the
And it's like, man, you just don't.
the change that's upcoming for the AI, where some people feel a little lost, as well as other people. I think a smaller group of people, minority, that are embracing AI and actually utilizing it and making it, I don't know, like 10x their work, even 100x their work. I've seen some people using multiple subscription of Claude Max, as well as Codex, $200 ones, and they somehow are able to use all their tokens, which is amazing. I feel like, while others aren't really embracing it, they either don't understand or don't want to play, explore, which will kind of limit their ability in a way, because how are you going to compete in a world where intelligence is being commoditized in a way? And that's a hard, tough pill to swallow, I feel like. And, you know, we have to adapt. We have to surf with the wave, and it's coming, right? We can. Then how can you go against nature, in a way, or the basically planetary shifts? How are you gonna fight against planets from moving its course? And so you have to flow with it. You have to surf the wave, surf the current. Anyways, so I've been, all of the essays I co-create with Claude is essentially just a dialogue between us, and afterwards it synthesizes what we talked about and creates a beautiful essay out of it. And what I actually enjoy is creating the OG image, or the image that epitomized the essay, because it has a specific feel to it, like a wabi-sabi / calligraphy style to it, which I really enjoy. That's actually what I enjoy the most, in a way. But also I really enjoy reading it. It's like I'm creating for myself. I'm creating things for one of one. It doesn't matter if other people read it or not. Perchance they might find this, but it doesn't need to be. But just, you know, something I'm creating for myself, in a way. Let me try to open this gate. There you go. Nice. Yeah, it wasn't working before. I tried it multiple times because they changed the code, right? Anyways. Yeah, so that will be coming out. It's literally titled One Piece, or at least the URL will be One Piece. And it came out from a mushroom journey. What else? Oh, another thing that came out was this concept of the sacredness. And something that's sacred is the symbol, or even literal, of fire. Fire is very sacred because it basically is the first technology that humanity has, and that kind of sparked everything from that. But it's also, one has to be really careful with fire. So it's like, it's a amoral tool that one uses, right? And if you really aren't be careful or observant, or kind of realize the sacredness of fire, then you might abuse it. And fire could warm you, but also at the same time it could cause wildfires and kill people, burn everything down around it. So there is that power to it, power of the fire, and it's scary, but at the same time awesome. The awness of it, just like the power, what it can do, imagine like the sun, the energy of the sun, which is like essentially just a giant fireball. That amount of energy, right? The mind can't really grasp it. It's so incomprehensible to us. Anyways, I feel like what came forth was that this app is it's almost like a kindling of fire. It's something small yet sacred. And by flaming it, it could go in one direction or the next. So I have to be really careful in where the fanning goes for the flame, that spark. Because it could, cause a wildfire, but also it could generate a bonfire. And it's interesting because I don't know if you guys noticed that there is, in the settings on the top, there is collective walk together, and there's like the little fire symbol that says the path unbroken for how many days. So if there is one person on the collective that walks for that particular day, that means someone is carrying the sacred fire. And how I even came about was because I was doing these YouTube shorts. This is like the first iteration of pilgrimage. There's this thing called pilgrim which kind of like pilgrim combines the two words pilgrim and mai. Mai in Japanese means forward or before. So it's like the pilgrim before. So I bought the domain pilgrimai.com, which I feel like it will turn into a digital platform for some like online teachers in a Dana-based model sometime in the future. But anyways, I started a YouTube Shorts where I was doing these, I think VO3, just stitching VO3 clips together to create it does on Patreon, it does like a short post on something Japanese, something related to Japanese pilgrimage, like the Hinro, like the Shikoku. There's like stories and myths behind it. And so I was doing those kind of shorts, as well as these Japanese symbolism that people might not know. So I was doing these YouTube shorts along with a story, which creates a script. And the shorts are like, I think like 30 seconds or maybe a minute long. And I was narrating it too. And using with subtitle to create this YouTube shorts. It was actually pretty nice. It's still there. Now it's called YouTube channels like Walk, Talk, Meditate, but it still has the YouTube shorts, which is all Japanese based themes. Anyways, what I learned from one of them was there's monk who's been carrying the sacred flame. He goes up, does a pilgrimage essentially every day to go up the mountain on this temple and light a fire in the temple. And he did that for basically most of his entire life. So he's carrying that flame forward. And I feel like that somehow went into the app, that carrying that sacred fire as part of the collective. When someone walks a day, one person walking on the path a day, it continues that unbroken carrying of that sacred fire in a way. So I thought it was like very poetic and very beautiful, which actually you see, I think, on the website too, like pilgrimapp.org. You see that. I actually made some changes on the pilgrimapp.org after releasing 1.2. Now on the left side, there is like a little pilgrim or a little walker icon. And when you scroll down, it scroll downs with you. And then when you stop for like 2 seconds, it does like a meditation, like a pulsing of the circle, which I thought was pretty cool. Maybe it can make it even cooler, I think, now that I think about it. Maybe like multiple circles, which it matches the app's vibe. I feel like it's pretty cool. And so I re-listened to the podcast, the 1 and 2 episode. I thought it's pretty nice. I really enjoy doing this, I think. And I think part of the thing this will make me to go out there and venture, explore, and talk with others and just go on a walk, talk, meditate journey with them and record this form in a podcast form. If we can see the journey between us as well as the talk, I think it's pretty beautiful. And it's ephemeral too, because we can share for like a year, the walk route, the journey route for a year, and then it disappears. So the podcast page actually recognized that when the route goes, because right now you can actually go see when the route happened, or the podcast happened, and because the journey or the walk has a timer to it, so it will eventually be erased. That page will be erased, and podcast page knows that. So yeah, everything is impermanent, right? The only constant is change, and everything is impermanent. It's beautiful. And yeah, we have to realize that there is only right now, and everything changes apart from this. So the podcast, in a way, it kind of distills or solidifies a moment in time of what happened, and hopefully it lives on. And I don't really see why it can't keep going. I feel like it could be the podcast for decades kind of thing, because I will keep talking to people along the path and get their story, have our chat, and along the way, other people can submit their journey, solo journey, and be on the podcast. So I thought it's a beautiful art. I feel like this whole thing is an art. Like every repo, every project within this walk, talk, meditate movement is part of contributing to that art, which I really, really enjoy. Yeah, and then I think I share the 1.2 release with a group, an AI upskill, like a WhatsApp group. I think it came from Idea Browser. This Greg Einstein, I think, he was doing this group for basically promoting his business, Idea Browser, and a bunch of people joined, and then someone created a WhatsApp group out of it, and now it's like 800 people. I joined, didn't really comment until just now, when 1.2 release happened. So I was like kind of saying what's been my experience working with Claude, because everything was co-created with Claude, and a few people digged it, and I said that every repo in the organization was co-created with Claude. I think there's crazy amount of things you can do with Claude these days. Not just Claude, but just like, Codex and other AI power, agentic powered coding. It's pretty nuts. And this is the worst that it can get, right? Who knows what happens in a year. And now with the mythos that Anthropic has just released to only the few organizations that they want to patch up some software vulnerability before releasing to the general public. But yeah, there's going to be open source versions. Right now it's probably six months or a year behind these frontier models. We have no idea where it's going to go. And software is one of the first things that gets commoditized, because intelligence, I think Anthropic made a big bet on going to AGI through the coding routes. And so a lot of programmers and coders are feeling getting obsoleted by these push. So one has to adopt with this kind of tool, or else, you just can't compete in that realm with AI. You have to coexist with them by having taste, whatever, having curation. The term I call it is orchestrate. You orchestrate and then curate. yeah, that's the way going forward. Well, I'm sitting at a beautiful lake. Just have a bench. I just actually discovered this bench. There was a dock area where a bunch of people chilling from their swim, but there's a secluded area with a bench, which I really enjoy. Just found today. I'm just gonna meditate for a little bit before see what comes up. Oh, another thing, kind of funny, that popped up was pizza. So when I was guiding a friend, we were doing a mushroom journey in Kerrville. We drove to like Kerrville to do a mushroom journey at an IHG hotel. Just specifically for that, but also just check out Kerrville because I've never been. And I remember my friend kept saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have that pizza," because he had the pizza for lunch and it was doing journey at 6 p.m. It was still there in his stomach, and I had the same issue when I was doing this morning at 9 o'clock. I started doing it at 9 o'clock. Took 2 grams of chocolate covered mushroom, and I had pizza yesterday. I had pizza for lunch as well as for dinner because I had like a large pizza and just saving it. I couldn't even finish the pizza. There was still 2 slices left. I had like 4 slices for lunch and 2 slices for dinner, and I was still kind of bloated. And this morning I still felt that. So in a way, it's like a funny, there's like almost like a mantra slash lesson in that never eat pizza. Be like a rule. Yeah. So going back to the sacredness of the journey. We all are going through our journey, and that is sacred because everyone's path is a little different, and sometimes there's down moments and sometimes there's up moments, and we forget that it's a divine comedy, divine drama, divine play, a movie that we're all just part of. We're co-creating. Not like I'm co-creating with Claude of a project. We're co-creating with God this movie. We're all actors in it, playing our parts. It's interesting because I had this realization is, in order to be a good actor, the best actor, the method acting, or whatever, where have you, those kind of acting, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but just an actor in general, you have to be like fully committed to your role. In a sense, you become that character, right? And in order to become that character, you have to realize that this is not even a movie anymore. You are in it, right? So the saying, be in the world but not of it, is out the window because you're literally in the movie and you are a part of that movie, and you forget that you're in the movie because you're so good as an actor that you forget that this is all a movie because you're so engrossed to be playing your role. So it's like a very much a paradox. In order to become the best actor that we're all supposed to play in our role in this incarnation, that we have to forget that this is a divine drama to play in that role. At the same time, we have to be cognizant and reflect, moment by moment, daily, that this is a cosmic drama, and we have to, give it all to God in a sense. That everything, give it. Doesn't matter what. It could be the pain, this joy, the sorrow, the little moments, and yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about love, which is the highest vibration, highest energy. And that is, we're all kind of seeking that bliss, that blissful state, the love state. And And we're all seeking that. The suffering along the way is but remember, even the joy or even the momentary happiness is temporary. But the state of joy could be perpetual if we are kind of tuned with it by serving, by being part of the all, part of that, playing our role in a sense, use our gifts and playing that role and serving others. Because we're all in the mirror, right? Like we're all kind of like helping others is helping you, because we are just literally a mirror of each other. And that is beautiful. So, to conclude, it's a beautiful day. The sun is out, and sometimes there's sprinkles of rain throughout. It's a beautiful day. Just meditated just a little bit, which I really enjoyed, finding that hidden, secluded spot near the dock, which I had no idea there was. It just goes to show you have to explore. In your daily environment, we might not notice. There are things that are out there, depending on your perspective, the level of your the level of your consciousness, you might not be able to perceive. I remember David Hawkins in several of his books, which I read them all, which I really enjoy. One of the deepest book I read was The Eye of the I. I think it's like maybe his second book. The one he's known for is the power of force of power. Power versus force. There you go. Yeah, so that's the book he's known for, and I remember finding that through an investment podcast of all the places by Monish Prabhai, and he's like a disciple of Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. And then Charlie has a way of saying take something small but take it seriously, and do it to the utmost, which is like I think Prabhai really took one of the teachings from the book about honesty and really took that into his daily practice, about almost like a radical honesty, no matter what. Take something simple, but take it seriously, something small. And it's like a mantra, because even the simple thing doesn't mean it's easy. It just means it's simple. And you have to really be cognizant and mindful about it every moment of your life if you're just following that one simple principle, like the honesty thing, right? Every interaction, even honesty with yourself. The easiest person to lie to deceive is yourself. And yeah, so taking something simple but really practice it every moment is a great thing. Anyways, power versus force. David Hawkins, he had this thing about consciousness levels, and it goes on exponential. He has a mapping from 0 to 100, and I think like the 200 or 100, I think like the 200 is like the base level, where we are at. Is it 200? Maybe 100. Totally forgot. Anyways, the base level is like your consciousness, like very neutral. I think the quality of the neutral state is like courage, and then you move up, all the way goes to 1,000, and the 1,000th level is where Buddha, Krishna, those kind of like grand avatars that comes onto this plane to have a special dispensation to teach the world about something that it really needed. Like Jesus, he came at like the depth of the Kali Yuga, like really deep, dark age, depth of the dark age, essentially, right? And he came for this special dispensation, and we're still all talking about him thousands of years later. because of the love he has shown, the sacrifice he had made, kind of thing. And yeah, that ripples out across time. Even though time is a non-linear thing, it's like a delusion in a way, because we human beings perceive time one slice at a time, but time, it kind of is like the fourth dimension in a way. Everything has happened, was, is, and will be. It all is one. Like everything has already happened, kind of thing. But we're all just perceiving it one slice at a time. So it's very interesting. Anyways, the consciousness level thing, David Hawkins said that it's on an exponential scale. So when you move up by one, it's not like, the number it goes up by one kind of thing. It goes up exponentially. Like the 10 is 10 order of magnitude. So when you have some avatar like in the thousands, he's able to counter. It's almost like a balance, right? A harmony of nature. He's able to cancel out or balance the millions or hundreds of millions of souls who are on the lower consciousness level because of the exponentiality of it. So we're all in a constant balance, and then with like the collectiveness, the collective whole is in a constant balance, and it's slowly moving up. I think David Hawkins said like in the near the 2000s, it finally crossed the threshold of 198, something like that, where we're at that base level now. So it's an interesting time, to say the least. Yeah. So also the Dwapara Yuga, Age of Energy, all of that. We're in a transition period. We're in the Dwapara proper. Essentially, we move out of the transitional state between Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga, and now we're in the beginning stages of Dwapara Yuga proper, which lasts about 2,000 years. And yeah, we're kind of witnessing the exponentiality of everything. Things are moving way faster and might not be able to adapt, but we have to. And that's the current of it all, the flow of it all. So flow with it. The lesson.
We go out in a circle. We come back in a spiral. The treasure is the same, but we are not.